My Amplified unit, we got some breaking news coming at you. I just finished well over an hour recording of today's podcast. Look for that in the next few hours on the channel, guys. It was it must be anyway. I haven't done any editing on it, but I know we talked about a lot of big subjects. So it's most likely well over an hour. A big podcast is coming at you guys on the channel in just a few hours. Make sure you check it out. Immediately when I was done recording, I had a lot of information come at me that WWE Smackdown is officially leaving Fox. They're going back to cable and back to the USA Network. It is confirmed. We'll take this article of many, but this is from the Hollywood Reporter. And I quote, "In a significant shakeup of pro wrestling programming, WWE Smackdown will officially leave Fox and jump back to the USA Network beginning October 2024. In addition, the WWE will produce 4 primetime specials per year, which will air in primetime on the NBC broadcast network." Guys, that is huge. Not cable. 4 times a year, basically mini pay-per-views, like amplified Saturday night's main events from back in the day. 4 times a year on the NBC broadcast channel, you're going to get WWE specials. So like ABC, CBS, Fox, and now NBC wants to have this big programming 4 times a year. They've already gotten NASCAR on the USA Network, and several times during the NASCAR season, they put it over there on NBC. They have the Sunday Night Football, of course, and now they want to do some WWE programming. They really believe that the live events is where it's at, and you got to believe this whole writer's strike put everybody in panic mode for these conglomerates. So NBC Universal, Comcast, they were like, you know what? We need more live event programming, not just for our cable station. We need to put some live events on our broadcast. That is massive. Not only is SmackDown going to the USA Network starting next October, but NBC, 4 little mini pay-per-views every year. That's massive. I wonder how that's going to coincide with the 1 pay-per-view premium live event every month that WWE is already doing. Anyway, SmackDown will debut on the USA Network beginning October 2024, with the NBC specials beginning in 2024 to 2025's broadcast season. So I'm guessing immediately, right? Maybe around Survivor Series would be the first, and then they'd start a whole new 4 group starting around WrestleMania. The new TV deal is for 5 years. This is a 5-year deal taking them through 2029. The Friday night program currently airs on Fox, and it's been there since 2019. NBC Universal, which owns both USA and NBC, has been in business with the WWE for decades, with the wrestling promotion's Monday Night Raw franchise debuting on USA in 1993. Now, Raw still runs on USA, as does NXT, the WWE's developmental program. NBCU's Peacock is also the streaming home of WWE's signature events, including WrestleMania. While the new deal will bring WWE to NBC primetime and SmackDown to the USA Network on Friday nights, it will also mean the end of Raw and NXT on USA. Wait, I'm sorry, what? I'm reading this this is breaking news, so I'm reading this with you guys. I'm sorry. A source familiar with Raw told The Hollywood Reporter that the market for the program is extremely active, with traditional linear networks, streaming service, and unexpected players all interested. Wow, so they're hearing that Raw will not stay on USA. So they're going to go they probably see the writing on the wall. In the podcast that I just cut for you guys, we just recorded over an hour in length, big chunk of that podcast, we talk about the Raw rating. It was the lowest in show history this past week at a 1.3. It somehow pulled a lower rating than last week's lowest rating ever. And you could say it's the football games all you want. There's a bigger problem, and I discuss it in today's podcast. Again, it'll be up in a few hours. But USA Network, they probably saw the writing on the wall. The biggest ratings right now is for Smackdown. That's where The Rock is showing up. That's where Jonathan Cena is. That's where everybody seems to say is the new A show. Meanwhile, USA is stuck with the ugly duckling that nobody is paying attention to, right? USA Network has Monday Night Raw. The ratings are going drastically backwards, about to go under 1 million within the next year. The writing is on the wall, and I bet you USA Network is like, we got to get off of this ship before it sinks completely. So I'm not surprised that NBC Universal Comcast wants nothing to do with Monday Night Raw. They want to stay with pro wrestling in WWE. They probably feel that SmackDown is their last hope. They'll ride it out on this 5-year deal and see what it leads to. I'm going to be interested to see the details. How much is this valued at? Because NBC already said for Raw, they were not willing to budge. They were not going to give Nick Khan and WWE a big uptick in revenue because the ratings were going backwards. Fox had already told WWE that they're not willing to give Nick Khan and WWE a big uptick in their revenue for TV rights because SmackDown was not where they thought it would be after all this time. They were planning on at least over $3 million after the 4-year deal, and they're not. Thanks to The Rock and Cena, they were able to eclipse 2.5 this past week. 2 weeks ago, it was at a 2.0 flat. So Fox was telling WWE, we're not giving you a big increase. NBC was telling WWE, we're not giving you a big increase. This I did not see coming. USA Network said, we're standing firm. We're not going to give you a big increase for Raw, but we will meet you for SmackDown, your asking price. And for WWE to get this deal done now, when they still had several weeks to really finalize something, it must be a deal that they're happy with. Because they already said their deals previously are all undervalued, meaning they feel they should be getting more money. Meanwhile, the networks are saying, no, we feel that we got robbed. We should have given you less because the ratings are not justifying what we're giving you. Anyway, I hope you guys are keeping track. There's a lot of interesting scenarios evolving here. But again, BC had just finished recording today's podcast. It'll be up in the next few hours. I hope you guys are able to catch it. The second I was done, I received this information. So I'm going to get this out to you guys first, and then later today or this evening, a few hours, maybe in 1 hour, you guys will have today's full-length podcast. So that's what I got for you now. I'm going to keep this short because the featured podcast is coming up in just a little bit, as aforementioned. So keep an eye out for that. BC will keep an eye out on any deets that come out, obviously. I want to see the financial side of it. See how much NBC Universal Comcast is actually paying Endeavor and Ari and who's really making out here. We got to find out the details in this deal because this is massive. WWE going to the USA Network, Raw most likely being taken off. Again, that part doesn't shock me so much that Raw would find a new home or Fox, but the fact that Fox is going to USA, wow. And then WWE is hosting 4 specials on NBC is hosting 4 NBC broadcast shows a year, man. Is it going to have that Saturday night's main event feel? Is this going to go toe-to-toe big time with Collision? There's no question, obviously, because those won't be Friday nights. You got to believe those are going to be Saturday night shows. Anyway, lot to talk about, lot to find out, and then we talk about. Guys, that's what I got for you. Smackdown going over to USA Network, leaving Fox. It is confirmed. It is official. We'll find out more. Keep an eye out. The big featured podcast is coming up in just a few hours on the channel. Until next time, and there will be that next time, later, Top Guy, we're out. BC saying check you. Peace.